behind the curtain of the show screen, Tom, and we just talk about whatever you like, sexual transmitted diseases, stuff like that. That time that Rich did that thing, you know, and it was like, whoa.
to the hamster in the...
You can do that because you can't see,
Right.
and then they'll be able to see.
They can hear us.
You can hear us. Nice, good. Oh, they're all there. I can see
There's
them.
adverts for the show this time
Chat's
as well.
on fire.
Chat is on fire. It's because we're late. That's
Yeah.
why.
That's on fire.
I love
That's
that.
my
I
fault
love
as
that.
always.
They do.
We're
Everyone's saying
not
hello
late,
to
you're
each other.
early.
The Shed Man's here. Mr. T's there. I haven't seen him. B.A. Brackus, what's he doing these days? Not a lot.
It's just, he ain't getting on that plane.
Yeah. That's why he's watching this shit.
This would be quality in-flight entertainment.
Oh, definitely. I'd watch it.
But
I'm
you
fucking
wrong,
on it.
Right, shall we roll intro?
Yeah, go for it.
And we are live.
We were
Slightly
here
late.
all along.
Slightly later than scheduled due to the football going into extra time. That's the excuse they use on the news, isn't it? Thank you for joining us. Oh, the rain's getting loud. That's fun. Welcome to tonight's show. We've got a belter of a show tonight. We're going to be talking about vaping in 2020 and what the year might hold, tech-wise, regulation-wise, all that sort of stuff. We've got the beautiful Medium Tom.
Medium Tom.
From
Good evening,
RedTube,
gents. Good evening, gents.
and Endless Mods, of course. And we've got Brad and John. That's pretty much it as always. As well. Furniture at this point. Purely eye candy, especially Brad.
Ah, fuck you.
So let's just crack on. We've got so much to.
Look at that working mic this week. Bang!
Yeah.
It's
Well,
live.
since we can hear John, let's find out what he's vaping and drinking.
I am vaping on. Have I changed stuff up? I haven't. I'm going to, but not quite yet. Crack current Devath 16 mod by Geek Vapes. It's good. Oh yeah, 50 milligram, obviously. And I've got Pistache 25 milligram probably in the billet box with that thing that just came out in there.
Can you be more specific?
Who's it by?
Really concise information.
Who's it by?
Not by Toby then.
No, totally. It's Canadian. It's a clue, isn't it? The latest one. It sounds like you've taken all the vowels out of one word. That.
Karma.
Karma Bridge. There you go. That's what it is. Oh, DJ LSB. It's in the house.
I just accused him of not being normal.
Fair enough. Who wants to be normal? Anyway, yeah, and I've got Canadian Bridge, Canadian liquid. Yeah, I've got some Canadian Bee breakfast to put in there, but I haven't put it in yet. So. Drinking on. Oh, they tell you how to say it on the bottle, don't they? I am drinking on Lagunitas. That one. Lagunitas.
Oh yeah.
I like them. It's great, and it's
That's
like
a good one.
6%.
One of Co-op's better ones.
Here's one, four for £7, mate. I'm not moaning. I'll take it.
Co-op, I've got some shit though, aren't they?
I've got some right shit.
Yeah.
Round here, though, that's the kind of thing that gets reduced because people can't read the bottle. If it says lager, they'll have it, but not that. That's going in the bargain bin if they don't buy it. Tom, what are you vaping? What are you drinking?
Barbina. I would usually say Ribena or Vimto. You are right, bang on the nose there. but I am currently on. I'm drinking Diet Coke because that's all my mum's got in the house. I don't really drink fizzy pop, but
It
that's
was
all my mum's got
Kiora
in the
last
house.
time.
I always drink dilute juice.
I like that. I like the fact that Tom sneaks in the fact he's at his mum's house. Like,
I am at mum's, yeah.
That's what I mean. But I like that you just kind of edge it in. You go, it's what my mum's
Give your
got.
mum a kiss from me.
She's upstairs with Dad watching TV, I hope.
You can give him a kiss from me too.
I'll send my love after the show. Yes,
turn the volume up and we'll shout. Don't! Look what happened last time. He's on here.
I know they're past them stages. They fucking hate each other.
that's just marriage. That
my parents have been married 40 years this year.
Oh
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, 40 years this year, and they're only in the 60s, so they're doing quite well actually. And I'm vaping a Pico because it's my beta with a Cloud One.
nice.
That's all I use.
Fucking hell, that Cloud One's been going for time, isn't it?
Yeah, I love it. I absolutely love it. But it's just my beta. That's all I use day to day. So that's me.
Brad, do it.
Hello, darling.
Oh, mate.
I am drinking Punk.
I like Punk. It's good.
That's on the low side. And I have already opened a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale.
Mm-hmm.
Got the queue running here.
Is that the good one? Is that the good one? Like with a whack good percentage?
5.6.
Oh, yeah. Because the other one's wanky. It's like 4.1 or something.
Do they make a 4.1?
Yeah, they do.
Oh, I've never come across it. And still, same old. My EVL twin, as I was educated on last week. Been calling it the wrong damn thing forever. And I'm still on elderflower and apple. Saved a little bit of that. Richard, what you drinking and what you vaping, darling?
Okay, I've got in here, this is Dead Pony.
I like the matching glassware.
Oh, yes. Yeah, you've got
That's
the extra
very
mile.
posh up north.
I usually drink out of the can, but I don't know why.
We noticed.
But the thing is, I don't drink out of cans properly. People have noticed previously in chat, but I kind of, I've got a little sideways thing going on.
You kind of look like you're giving a...
Yeah, it's not ideal. So I thought, I'll use a glass. I'm quite normal at drinking with a glass. I've kind of nailed glassware.
Next week, I'm assuming it's going to be one of those tippy top beakers kind of things. 2 hands.
No, because they're murder as well, because you think it's finished coming out and your little drip gets you. They've got
you're definitely getting... Someone is definitely going to cut what you just did. Why the fuck would you do that?
You get a little drip. Or if you've got 2, you get 2 little drips.
That's definitely ending up in Photoshop this week.
Definitely.
And then you're like that, you're like, I can't. Yeah, so that's
I'm trying to work out what I can offer as a prize to the best Photoshop of that.
So that's the thing. Vaping on, I'm vaping on this still. This is like a real beta. The Nunchakutu with the MVP5 can only be breakfast in there. That's a mainstay at the moment. But I've also got the Kelpie RDA from EH Pro. Brand new. Everyone sort of got them yesterday and today. Brand new RDA from EH Pro.
It's almost as blue as your room.
Yeah, it's got a blue, very blue situation going on. But it matches. I really like this pumper. It's old now. So.
Just the whole show's just going to be weird innuendos.
Quality. I've got a billet box as well from EH Pro.
No, you don't.
It's kind of like a better looking billet.
It's like a billet drawn.
You can vape it properly as well. 30 watts.
Excellent.
In this bad boy.
Is there a compound curve anywhere on that device?
No.
It looks like it was drawn with a ruler.
It's a real shame that they felt the need to write the company name all down like a quarter or a third of Because if it had just been that, I mean, it's red. They do have a prettier one, but this is that's the nicer one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I agree.
slightly more subtle with the mirror finish.
But that's a thing. That's a thing. And also, I've got the Vupu Vinci Air. The Vinci did really well, the bigger one. So they've done a smaller one.
That's the one with the turnaround top.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's better than having no airflow control, but it's not brilliant, is it? Two choices. Not tight enough and too tight.
oh God, he's still doing it. That's what they said when I went to that whorehouse. Which one?
So that's a thing.
As if that's ever happened. Could you imagine how socially awkward I would be in a whorehouse? Terrible. I'm awfully sorry for being here.
I could see you in a brothel. You'd be the guy playing the piano.
Just doing a rhythm.
The guy with the mop cleaning the rooms afterwards.
Oh,
A job's a job, isn't it?
yeah.
What high class whorehouses have you guys been to?
None.
I've been to a couple. One really near you, Tom.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so that's all that stuff. Let's crack on.
Yes.
What's next in the thing? Oh, the news.
Oh, we're going news. Oh, yeah, because it wasn't in the run. But I'll go news. It's fine. Yeah.
What does it say?
Don't know. Let's do it.
Oh,
Let's
I
do the
didn't
news.
put the news in the thing.
You didn't. I didn't want to say anything because I thought you were just being rude. We had an argument about billet
Well,
boxes.
that's really when I send you that is the time to say.
It is. I mean, if I'm honest now, retrospect.
Looking back.
Looking back.
Well, you're gonna have to tell them.
That's a bitch.
Okay.
Due to that, you're gonna have to tell them about the buttons. While I set that up.
Oh, buttons first. Oh yeah, just a quick one. To say if you've got a .aio and you're after a new custom button, because things are the way things work is they come out and then people start fiddling around with them. And Russell Hayward, ICM Mods, is making buttons. Number one, he's making buttons. He's also put a video on his Instagram, ICM Mods, and his Facebook group of how to take it apart and change the button. But he's selling buttons. So if you're after a custom button for your .mod AIO, go to Facebook. It's the blue one with the white writing, facebook.com. In the search bar, just type in ICM, as in Indigo Charlie, Mike Mods, as in Mike Oscar Delta Sierra, and join the group and buy a button. They've got some groovy ones. I don't know if you put them on the screen. Did you put them on the screen?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they're all there. And he's going to do more. He's been doing billet buttons and drip tips for ages, and he's doing that. And you'd also buy Ice Cream Man liquid over there as well. That's the Ice Cream Man, Russell Hayward, ICM Mods. I think they're wicked. Nice one, Russell. And wicked of you to share how to take it apart as well. Really good little video. Done.
Good. That's that. That's those buttons. That's that. Yeah. So cool. Check those out if you got one of them.
I like that purpley blue one. That's pretty.
The first bit of news is from. I'm gonna have to do it in reverse, John. So it's from The Hill.
From The Hill. Here we go. It's quite interesting because, if you're into American politics, I suppose we know what the Republicans have done so far with vaping. Not a lot, and the flavour ban on the pods. Anyway, Senate Democrats blast exemptions in Trump vaping ban. More than 30 Democrats on Monday criticised the Trump administration's new vaping ban for exempting menthol-flavoured e-cigarettes and any e-liquids that are not in a cartridge. In a letter to newly appointed Food and Drug Administration Commissioner Stephen Hain, the 31 Democrats led by Senator Patty Murray said the emissions in the policy will place millions of children at risk of addiction. The newly announced e-cigarette flavours policy, which represents an alarming reversal from what the administration promised, is weak and unlikely to have any meaningful impact on e-cigarette use by youth, the Democrats rate. I think it's just bullshit again. I think it's dual. And the other thing is, the opposition's always going to say the opposite, aren't they? Because kind of.
It's articles like that make me miss Rick's bullshit button.
Yeah. It's really tough.
So that what they're saying that the regs that are going through at the moment don't go far enough.
Yes.
Democrats, man.
What? That they're not hard enough?
Yeah,
They're not hard enough.
the Democrats have really gone all out on this Save the Kids thing.
Yeah.
Still don't really understand their angle.
They don't even know what it is. Bernie the other day didn't know what it was. He just kind of took a question on vaping and then just said, "Yeah, we need to look at it and we need to be harder." And then when pushed on it, he went, "Oh, I don't really know." So
yeah,
it's literally you can't do right for doing wrong.
I think if we've learned anything from vape politics, especially on the American side, the power of lobbyists, the power of lobbying and lobbyists is massive. Just the ability to say the right words at the right time in the ear of a senator or whoever and get them to just agree with that in that moment is so powerful because they don't read enough, they don't research enough. But if you just give them a good enough soundbite at the right time, that's what they'll regurgitate for a little while.
Yeah, and it kind of felt, obviously, with the Iran coming immediately after the vape thing, it all just drifted. I mean, I totally agree. Everything becomes inconsequential really, really fast. I don't know what they're going to do. Yeah, I skipped. I'm just going to say, because it's a couple of articles bouncing around the news at the moment about vaping that I haven't included. One of them, there's a video that the Sun have picked up, Daily Mail Express, of a kid, two babysitters who got a kid to vape. That's got nothing to do with vaping. Because he could have been knocking back a whiskey. They're just a couple of cunts. That's what that is about. That's not about vaping. That's about a couple of pricks who they used. I'm not a youth. What's the Snapchat? They sent a Snapchat out of a 2-year-old or a 4-year-old or something vaping. But I mean, it could have been anything. Could have been. It's just nuts. They're a couple of cunts. It's not news.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's bollocks.
There's the New Jersey flavour ban's gone through as well, isn't it?
Yeah, it did go through.
I think it's got one more box to tick, but it's pretty much a dead cert.
Mm-hmm. And that's all out flavour ban, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah, not just pods, it's everything.
Interestingly, again, menthol was removed. Tobacco cigarette menthol was removed at the last minute. And menthol, the flavour in e-liquid wasn't. Which is...
so they've still got... So you can still do tobacco and that's it?
In e-liquid.
In e-liquid.
But you can sell it to someone out of New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And you can have it imported from out of New Jersey. If they fill out one extra form.
They worked out ages ago. Like, it's international sales into America unaffected by the ban. It's...
In Massachusetts, they are.
In Massachusetts, yeah, they are. I can ship in. He can. They can ship out as well.
Have you not heard about the people being sued for shipping into Massachusetts?
Yeah.
I honestly, that to me has got to be a sting operation where somebody of power is saying.
Oh yeah. No, but you could internationally ship in, can't you? But you can't within the states.
We can't do state to state.
Yeah, but you can send it.
Right,
yeah,
right.
So we can, but they can't send it to each other because I've had John Nathan at can only be one, etc. It's going to piss me off. He's got about 4 names now, but Casadega. He's sent people who are down the road from him to me to ship it to them because I can.
Right.
The reason that menthol cigarettes were removed from the ban list.
They're delicious. That's why.
They didn't have enough data on the market impact, which is astonishing.
Menthol
the best
cigarettes have
excuse
been
I've
out for
ever.
how long? and they don't have the data.
It's not data, is it? It's a filter. It doesn't make any difference at all.
Who cares?
You've got cancer. That's the bad news. Oh, okay. Is there any good news? Just a little bit. What's that? Minty cancer. Oh, I thought it was serious. Oh, as long as it's the minty one.
Yeah, but they're saying no. They're more saying the market impact. So they're saying if people can't get menthol cigarettes, will they immediately shoot up heroin?
They've got a big problem with that, haven't they? Because I didn't realise this, but I've got to be so careful here. I think the word that is preferably used in the States is African American. The African American market for menthol cigarettes is huge.
Right.
And so they've got a race issue problem too to throw into it. Like lots of them smoke them.
I think, to be honest...
Lots of them, that's terrible.
I think, to be honest, that's what they were pointing at a bit.
Yes.
They didn't know who bought... well, they said there wasn't enough data on who bought them and what, and who it would impact the most, etc. But yep, as always,
Steve Bellamy solved it in chat. Minty heroin. That's what we need.
We've got one more article.
Yep, from the
Federalist.
Yes. Okay. The misplaced moral panic over vaping is killing smokers. Manufactured hysteria about the use of electronic cigarettes is perpetrating a public health crisis more severe than the one it seeks to address. Manufactured hysteria about electronic cigarettes is perpetuating, that was the word I was after, a public health crisis more severe than the one it seeks to address. The groundbreaking 2015 study conducted by Great Britain's public health agency, Public Health England, shows that vaping is 95% safer than using combustible cigarettes. That article was printed again this week in the Mail for no reason at all.
Yeah.
A study from 2015. Totally bizarre. An outbreak of a mysterious lung illness last fall, however, called into question vaping safety, igniting a scare that has led to heightened anxiety over the use of the products. The illness has now claimed the lives of 57 people and injured more than 2,500, fueling panic amongst people concerned over the use of vaping products that have been blamed for the outbreak. I've got to finish this because otherwise I'll be fucked. Contrary to how it was portrayed in the media, the illness was caused primarily by black market THC, marijuana products used in vaping devices and not flavoured e-cigarette products, as the media and opponents of e-cigarettes have depicted. Weirdly, I'm going to add to this because they picked it up again. One of the news agencies in America yesterday picked it up that everything's been called black market, and they were talking about black market vendors. And then they corrected themselves by saying black market products. So they're coming in through dispensaries as well, because the dispensary is buying fake shit and putting it on the shelf and selling it for the same price as the authentic. And because that's amazing. You don't have to go to
because they're greedy bastards.
Yeah, well, it's the same capitalist economy, isn't it? They're doing that. They've been taught, I might as well get it cheaper. So the dank vapes weren't only coming from a dude in an alleyway. They were coming from the dispensary. People going in with a prescription and picking up tainted pods that they thought were real. They were, I'm safe because I've seen it in the news, but I'm buying it from fucking dispensary. And they were getting fucked.
Apparently some very similar pods popped up in Australia. I think I saw a bearded Viking saying. I think they were caught in time by someone that knew.
Trying to fuck.
So they are still potentially out there in a way.
It's not
do they not have to have some sort of license to sell medically though?
They absolutely do, but they've got a license to sell, but there's no it's where they're buying their stock. And they were buying them from those two chaps who have been arrested for, well, one of the largest tainted pod things. That they were getting it from there, or, a distro of one of them. So,
but shouldn't the shops be in trouble for this as well?
Exactly.
Shouldn't they go for the man as well? Not just the people that's producing them, but the actual people who are pushing these products to people that don't know what the hell they are.
They've only just worked it out, like in the last couple of weeks when it was plain. We did a bit on the old show there was the chap who was interviewed, and they changed his. Everyone was posting it. They edited the guy's interview, and and then a vape channel interviewed him afterwards, and he said, "Oh, I've never used nicotine. This is all blah blah blah." But he was buying it from a dispensary. So it only came from one place. We'd already spotted it. If these things come up, the problem is that people aren't being critical. It's we've got to be really, really careful. I saw a few people talking about IQOS today, and you can definitely throw shit at IQOS. You definitely can. You've got to really be careful. Don't use the fucking arguments they've used against us and throw them back. Whenever we hear some fucking Save the Children bellend having a go, you try to be reasonable and say, well, this is why that's wrong, and this is why this is wrong, and this is why that's wrong. We can't listen to an argument against IQOS, a product we think is a bag of shit, on a baseless claim, and then go, yeah, no, I agree with that. That's what they fucking said to us, and you fought it. We can't do that. It's absolutely stupid. It's like when people say, oh, nicotine's like coffee. It isn't. That's a stupid argument.
There are parallels.
There are, but we can't fall back. Do you remember the water vapor thing? Oh no, I'm blowing out water vapor. No, you're not. No, you're not.
There wasn't any water going into it. There was no fucking water coming out of it. Do the math.
But we just got to this really weird thing where people are kind of going, "It's water vapor." Well, yeah, but it's nicotine. No, nicotine is only as bad as coffee. It's not really, because I mean, I remember when you ran out of fags.
They're both stimulants, aren't they?
True, but you don't go down the back of your sofa and count pennies out to go and get a cup of coffee from Starbucks. But you do when you run out of fags.
Oh, I don't know. You can be rattling for a coffee, can't you?
Not like for me.
And if you like have a random Sunday where you don't have a cup, you get a nasty headache.
Studies say that nicotine is more addictive than heroin. I haven't tested that theory, but it seems dodgy. But nicotine is highly addictive. Caffeine might be slightly, but they're not the same thing.
I feel like vapors use any argument, though. Vapors do use any argument because we are very protective over what we do class as our baby, though, aren't we? So we'll try and use any argument.
It's that take a breath and kind of go, yeah, Todd does get. No, you don't. That's not that. I've seen your coffee. You're just edging for milk. You're addicted to cow's milk. That's what that is.
You like the baby cow juice.
There's fuck all coffee in that cup. It's just milk.
That and a counter to the heroin argument is, how often do you see someone standing on the street corner sucking someone off for a drag of a fag? Like,
look, mate, I quit 7 years ago. Why are you bringing this up now? It was great. It was greatly exaggerated. Richard was doing 2 at a time. He was getting super king.
I couldn't
want
avoid
twos
that
for
one.
that.
That's how Richard used to say, 2's up. He wondered what was up.
Yeah.
Yes. Anyway,
Okay,
that's the news with another bit of bullshit.
That's the news. We've got a lot of new stuff. Shall we
Go.
grill Tom first or show new stuff?
Yeah.
No, show new stuff first, then grill me later on.
Okay, cool. All right, so we showed you the BB buttons. Oh, and we sort of showed you the Kelpie RDA. This is it. This is new. I was gonna quickly talk about this. So single coil RDA coming off the back of the RTA, obviously made in collaboration with Vaping with Vick Mullen, Scottish reviewer. Yeah, so it's a follow-up to the RTA, so it has kind of a similar deck. They've tweaked the airflow to make it more RDA-like. But it's still got the same sort of deck. It's still, you can have it S-shaped or both leads the same way. Interestingly, it's kind of more of an RDTA in my opinion, because it's got a really, really deep juice well, and you put your cotton really far down into that juice well. It's got interesting airflow as well. It kind of goes through this hole and up through all the little holes in the U shape. It makes it very tricky for dripping on, I can tell you that straight off the bat, because obviously you drip straight down, and any juice that doesn't get caught by the cotton goes straight into the air holes. So tricky for dripping. It's also not as airy as you think it would be. Same as the RTA was. You know, it looks quite airy. In reality, it's got a bit of restriction to it, which is not necessarily a bad thing. It is a single coil RDA. Goon tips, but it comes with a converter for normal ones. It's got airflow adjustment, as you would expect. You just turn the barrel. It sort of locks up to the base, so you turn the barrel. And you can get it really restricted, actually. Fully open, it's quite noisy. And the air's doing quite a lot, so there's quite a bit of turbulence there as well. Yeah, it's interesting design. You know, it's not super unique. It's quite.
Is it a one vape?
It can be if you put, because of the fact that the coil covers the air holes. If you put a really beefy coil in there, it really restricts it, and it gets really hot before the air can get out. So you can have a very hot vape if you want it to. And because of the squonking, when you squonk on this, the juice that comes up goes nowhere near your coil. Like, you know, on a traditional squonking RDA, the juice literally goes straight over the coil every time you press the bottle, doesn't it? On this, it literally just goes into the bottom reservoir. You know. So,
oh, okay.
So yeah, so you can't instantly re-wick it by squonking. Yeah, so it's I've not had it long enough to have any real opinion on it, but I'm playing with it at the moment. It's still got one of the major things with the RTA was the screws. They were very apologetic about how small the screws were and how fiddly that made it to work with. It's still got really small screws. So that I was gobsmacked at that.
Are they still apologetic?
It is Allen key now, so it's not as crazy as it was before when you were trying to.
How much is it?
It's EH Pro. It's an RDA, so it'll be about 25. I think it's already. I think it's already hitting shops now. But
not mine.
Yeah, I'm not in a position to review it. But that is it. 24mm single coil, much more squonky than it is drippy, and a very similar style build and wick to the RTA was.
I just saw some. Where is he? Where is it? Dale Wilkinson. He brought the Crown Pod system down to your review, Mr. Richard.
Hey.
He's very impressed.
Oh, good. Where's my Crown Pod system? I've lost it.
In the drawer of
That
all the other
happens all the
shit you've
time.
got.
Yeah, see it somewhere.
Yeah, one of these days you're going to have to pan your camera down so we can see the fucking mess.
I tell you how good it was. My wife finished it.
That's
right. It's not here. The really good pods, they disappear into handbags.
That's good.
And then Sarah finds my handbag and puts it
along with my dignity.
How many handbags you lost so far?
So yeah, I like that Crown one, and that is the Kelpie RDA. So that is that one. The next one I forgot to show in the hand check. I've had this a little bit. This is the E-Grip Mini from Joytech. Yeah, from Joytech.
I think you did speak about it the other week. Actually,
this is tiny. I mean, this is the.
No, it's not. That was what I sent the pictures. Do you remember? I sent you a thing. And said, are you getting it? Yeah, I do remember.
So that's a traditional RTA. That's the Engine 2. Just a pretty normal RTA. It's absolutely tiny.
Because it's got the tank. Has it come out or something?
This is an 18650 battery.
How crappy is the life on the battery though?
Oh,
yeah, that was my question too.
Buy one, is it?
On the plus side, it's so small you could carry two of them and not notice.
Is that the thing where the pod comes out the side?
Yeah. So this is.
Yeah, that is what I sent you.
There's the coil there. This is the tank, and it literally comes out like that. It's not a bad idea. They could do a big one of this, couldn't they? The first thing I thought when I got it was.
You think you could suck a big one?
I would love to suck a big one. That's the first thing I thought. I think that a lot. I just, they could make it with a proper battery and a proper tank and a proper coil. Like, because the design's so cool. But this is, I don't know. I mean, it's a startery thing, isn't it?
What is it, like 500 bar or 600 or something?
Not even that.
Really not? Fuck.
Is it enough to last one tank?
How? It's like a credit card.
Yeah, fair enough. That's just fucked.
Does the battery last long enough for a tank?
The tank capacity is 2 mil.
Yeah, but does the battery last long enough to burn an entire
Oh
tank?
no.
No, then that's fucked.
So that's the e-grip Mini from Jitech. I think it's
it's fine today.
It's a really cool design.
Looks fucking balls.
What was that? What was that piece of shit that everybody had at Expo a couple of years ago? You could have it on a lanyard.
Mimo.
Yeah, the Me Pod. Think of that piece of shit. Yeah. Loads of people bought that. It was fucking awful.
The vape is very similar to that.
Yeah. It's going to take off then, people. Watch out. People want a piece of bullshit to hang around.
Is the tank flush with the body, or is it quietly sticking out?
No, really nice.
Because I thought if it's sticking out a little bit, as soon as you drop that on the floor, the tank's going to crack, isn't it?
Why bother making the drip tip removable if it's a size that no other...
To clean it, come on. You always get them janky people that like nasty lip gunk drip tips.
I do.
There's nothing worse than like the piled up.
You've seen nothing.
On a drip tip.
I tell you what, you've never seen. Oh, Tom's works in shops. Somebody passed me their mod once because it wasn't working, and I wasn't really looking. And I went, "Yeah, mate, don't worry, I'll have a look at it." I put it on the desk and I picked it up. I'm not even joking. It was a 510 wide bore, and you couldn't have fit a Q-tip down it. It was solid.
Yeah, but it's when they pass you it and go, "Try this juice on God." You're like, "Nope."
I always say the same thing if someone does that. I always go, "Oh, I've got a bit of a cold." I never touch it.
So that's that. And I showed you this as well. The Artery POW 18650. So these have been very popular over the time. There's been a few of these pals, pal whatever, they do it, like they always do. They do a pal stick one, then they do a pal pod one, and now they've done an 18650 one, and it's very ergonomically billet boxy.
Yes.
You've got your juice window there. You've got your USB on the side. You've got your airflow coming in here, very billet-y. Your little round button on here. Drip tips changeable. So it's quite billet-y. Same size, I'd say. Sort of deck of cards-esque.
Yeah.
And 18650 battery.
I question, why is it 18650?
What do you mean?
Why is it not 21700?
Ooh, I guess they wanted it to be small.
That seems to be the flash in the pan, though. To be fair, people are. It's great for mix, but people aren't. They don't seem to be accommodating.
I don't think there's enough regulated single battery like that. Would be very good in 21700. Yeah, so that is the PAL 18650. So on that side you've got that. On the other side you've got your screen, left right buttons, and then your tank there, and you refill it there, and it's got a big coil in. You've got your airflow adjustment there. So it's like a poor man's billet box, isn't it?
Quite simplistic, isn't it?
Yeah.
What's the retail on that?
Has it got a screen?
Yeah.
I couldn't see it. Oh, a little tiny. Yeah.
And it's a thing. 30 watts. Well, I'm at 30 watts.
What's the retail on it?
It's about 40.
That's not bad at all.
No, I think it's duty. Then, and like I say, this is the ugly one in colour wise. But I do think it's a shame that they've put artery there. They didn't need it.
I can't look at it without thinking about a level, like a little level tool. If you hold that thing sideways, it just looks like a...
Do you know what it looks like? If you hold it up, I can tell you exactly what it looks like. That is a section cut out of a supply teacher's dress.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
On Tower school trip day.
Hello. My name is Claire. I'll be teaching you today. Please don't mess around. Please don't mess around. I'm not normally doing this. I normally teach art, but we're doing history. I don't know. Page number 44.
Turn to page 16. Of what, miss?
I'm going to do fuck all and draw pictures. You copy that bullshit down. It's already in a book, you daft cunt.
Mark Todd has asked if it's better than the dot AIO. I wouldn't know. I would because ultimately these things come down to what RBAs you can get in them, what your personal opinion on the coil head is. I think the coil head is great. It's vaping great, so I'm enjoying it, and I really like the form factor. Obviously, because that's why the Billet Box has been so successful, because it's a great form factor. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, the .AIO, people have started making aftermarket products for it, haven't they? So that puts it up one level, I'd say, over this. Possibly, I mean, this red one, certainly not as sexy as the .mod one. But yeah.
So my summary of what you just said is that it's so bad that it'll be better if someone else makes parts for it.
But that's the same as the dot mod. You can have the same.
No, not at all. Not at all. In my opinion, it doesn't need those parts. But that's what people sort of.
People are doing that.
Yeah.
I can't fucking help myself tonight.
No, I like it. So far, I really like it. I'm enjoying it a lot. But it's hard to compare to other AIOs.
Yeah,
in a way, personal. You know, because it just comes down to coil heads ultimately. I think.
Absolutely.
Same shape, same airflow, both regulated.
Say that, you've got to be careful because Dale had a Nord that had it had its own logical thought process because it knew where it was. He put it in a Nord and it was great, and he put it in the BB. It knew where it was, and it just went no flavour. That's from Dale.
The next thing we've got is potentially, well, it's definitely a UK exclusive, and we probably shouldn't be showing it. But as a keen follower of Grim Green and a regular viewer of his stuff, he did a sneaky peek on his Tuesday Bro Tuesday of his upcoming RTA.
Oh.
We don't even know the name of it yet, but he waved it on the camera.
Have you
and
got
I
a
screenshot that.
That's fair. Public domain, mate. Public domain.
Yeah, Nick, if you see this, and you didn't want people to see it yet, sorry, but you did show it on camera. And you get
sorry, not sorry.
I'm pretty sure you get more views than me. So definitely more people have seen it on your screen than they will on mine. So with that being said, this is the screenshot of the RTA. You guys will have to wait a sec. But on screen now, people can see the RTA. So what he has said so far is it's not super cloudy. It's more lower wattage. He's said that it's not going to be mass produced. Going to be sort of a semi-limited run.
I can see it.
Not as many as was it the recoil? Was his the recoil?
Recoil, yeah.
So not like that. There won't be millions of them like that. Initially, I don't know long term, but it's sort of going to be a limited run.
It's got to be an up and over. I'm seeing wicks like that.
Yeah, it's one of them where it feeds from underneath.
Do you know what it looks like?
What?
It looks like the Aspire Tayfun.
Yeah. And it's got the little whole airflow thing. So he sort of suggested it's what I remember back in the day. You always used to call the lower wattage tanks flavor bangers.
Yes.
You know, like Goblin V3. And
I had an auntie called that.
It's the Serpent Mini from Watofo.
What, the Goblin V3?
Flavor banger.
I would really fist bump you.
So I think it's, this is all guesswork based on what he said so far, but so it's not going to be cheap. It's not going to be widely available.
See, I don't think anyone's ever got that one right. So if he's got it right, I think it could be great.
What, the 25 watt?
That design. A few people have tried it and they've got close, and then it's not been great, or the build quality is wank, or I broke the chimney off one. One of them flooded because if the wicken's wrong, then it auto siphons and the whole thing just empties out. They're a complete pain in the dick. Didn't Dimitri and Phil do one?
Oh, the Aries.
That was a pile of wank, you see. So if it's like that, but works, I think it'd be great.
Yeah, it is going to be a similar wicking style to that.
Yeah. That's what exactly what I mean. It's just
Well, I don't know if you know yet, but was the airflow adjustable on that? Because
Yes.
it
Like it
had
was,
had a lot of air holes, but they're very, very small.
Yep, it's adjustable airflow. But even wide open, you can clearly see it's not going to be crazy turbulent. I think it looks exciting. You know, I think it looks good. But apologies if we weren't meant to show it. There's no name for it yet. We don't know when it's coming out. That was the final beta or something.
I think we should call it the Flavor Bagger Goblin V3.
You should call it the Flavor Banger.
Yeah.
Or just John's Nan. John's Nan.
I did my Nan. I said that my auntie. That's really bad, man. Dissing my Nan live on the thing. I got talked to the weekend.
And now you're going to think
Hi,
about
John's Nan.
when you do.
I tell you what, you're going to be waving a fucking long time. She's been dead for about 14 years.
So that's that. That's
like I meant it.
I think that's all the new stuff. Oh, I've got this as well. I'll just very quickly say I got this. This is the next review. This is the Profile 1.5 Mesh RDA from Watofo. So it's a 1.5.
We're going to talk about Mesh.
Slightly upgraded. Yeah, if we've got time at the end, we're going to talk about Mesh RDAs that's the ATI that prompted this. Because I'm still not on board that train. Are you, Tom? Do you like your Mesh RDAs?
No.
I
stick to Genesis atomizers with Mesh is for fruity, citrusy juices, and that's just where my mindset is. And I've just never took any interest in Mesh RDAs.
Yeah, I obviously keep getting sent them, so I keep persevering, but I'm struggling with these mesh.
Do you think it's down to the juice, though? Do you think it's down to the juice? Do you think if you add something more citrusy, it would give more of a banging flavour?
Like it was in Jenny's? I've tried that. I've tried fruit.
Is that what the problem is? Flavour? Oh, we'll find out. Cliffhanger.
Yeah, we'll talk more later about Mesh as a coil. I mean, and don't get me wrong, it is really loved in general. You know, a lot of people are loving Mesh RDAs. You know,
they love Mesh RDAs.
But that's the thing. So that is that. So let's slide on from new stuff.
Let's slide on to Tom.
Let's slide on to Tom.
I'd like to slide on to Tom. It's time to split roast Tom.
Come on, boys.
Yeah. The obvious question is, what's new? What's new? What's going on?
There's nothing new from us at the moment in time, but there is a lot of stuff going on in the background. I don't know if you knew before the new year we did purchase Asylum mods. I don't know if I mentioned this before.
Yeah.
We are currently working on bringing the Sherman back. We're also working on a mouth to lung RTA as well. And we're also in discussions of possibly releasing a UK manufactured mod and a UK manufactured RTA as well.
Oh, it'd be great to see another RTA coming back, being made here.
So on the Asylum thing,
yes.
Did you already have a relationship with them?
Yeah, Tom O'Connell was the original owner of Asylum Mods, and I believe he either got too busy or he kind of, you see a lot of people falling out of love with this industry. It's quite easy to do that, I think, these days.
Oh, yeah.
And I think he basically said, I'm not going to do it anymore. Paul approached him and said, I'll take the company and I'll run with it. So I think Tom's going to have some sort of involvement with us guys, but we're not going to change anything sort of massively, but we may sort of do something to change maybe the deck or something like that. But the Asylum mods themselves, like the Sherman 25, Sherman 28, were popular. So I don't feel like we're going to change them massively, but it's something that we could.
The Sherman people are still seeing handshakes all the time now. It's still people's top tank. So that's fallen out of production. So you guys are rolling it back into production.
Yeah. They had a very limited run. I don't believe Tom really did sort of like a full launch on them anyway. I feel like he only really released maybe 500 if that's max, and that was worldwide, because I know they were very, very popular in the States. So we're going to bring them back into manufacturing. But as you guys know, when you go to a manufacturer, especially China, they're expecting big numbers to be ordered, and with where the market is at the moment, not many people are doing big orders.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So we've just got to gauge it.
So you're in a process of sort of
Yeah, redoing everything. Yeah, we still, as I say, we still got the design for the mouth to lung, which is probably something that we want to concentrate on a bit more, is the mouth to lung side of things, because we know that's very, very staple. You know, the sub-ohm market does its wave as it always does.
Yeah.
The mouth to lung is very much staple, so I feel like the next thing that we probably be concentrating on more is the mouth to lung, but definitely speaking and getting something maybe manufactured in the UK, which is a good look.
If you can get, you're right. If you get the mouth to lung, it's that open shot you've got with it seems wider with mouth to lung. You're going to got like a year to sell them, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if you get a low wattage tank, high wattage sub-ohm tank, it seems you've got to get them in and get them gone.
Yeah, the lifespan on them is very short. Like I
feel like a really good rebuildable though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, like our RDA, the Slamham, that was released in 2016, and that still gets sold till this day.
Mm-hmm.
So the RDA itself, like, if you release something that's decent, like, it's really easy to build, so people just see that it's really simple to build. And I think these days everybody's after ease. It's got to be something that's not over machined, overthought. It's very simple, and I think that's where we're kind of going with it.
Cool. Tom, I know we've done this in the past with this show and spoken to you about it, but just to kind of edge other people, what did you do before you were the vaping god you are now? What were you doing?
I've done plenty of things before I got into vaping. I was working in the hospital.
Oh yeah,
I actually worked at the hospital. I was a pen pusher in the hospital, enjoying just a 12-hour shift nights and days. So that was it. I literally fell in love with vaping, and then saw a shop open when I was living, because I moved and I was living in Sheffield. Saw a shop had opened, applied to work there, and that's where the whole journey started. I just started working in a shop and just went on from there. But I'll be honest with you, I really enjoy vaping for the people.
Yeah.
The industry at the moment is very, very slow. And if anybody says that the industry isn't slow, I don't know where you are, and you need to come speak to me. But I feel like the industry itself is slow.
You mean on a retail side? Or?
Everything, I think everybody's sort of feeling the wrath of sort of what we've seen over the last 2019 with all stuff being said, negativity and stuff like that. A lot of retail shops are feeling it, and wholesalers are feeling it and stuff like that. And I feel like we've got to get to that point now where we're a bit more positive in the industry and everyone's kind of getting that growth again. And maybe it's just, maybe I must be thinking maybe it's just the UK and the American market, because there is, we went to Germany last year twice, and Germany is where the UK was 3 years ago.
Yeah, in terms of hype and volume and
yeah.
But if you get it, I totally understand what you mean, but I also think you're correct that it can be back where it was, because we're I think a lot of the more hobbyists that come over, the bigger our size always been, and it's that pissy attitude as well. Not that everything's shit attitude. It just drives me mad. Like, I can't stand why you walk in, you come into something piss bored. I've never understood that, and kind of having a negative outlook on stuff.
But for me personally, the community doesn't have that excitement that we used to have. Even those guys have that excitement lulled a little bit. Even because we know it, we're in it, we do.
But everybody can get really hyped up about stuff. I mean, we did. If you hit the right note, like we did the raffle before Christmas, and it just went off. And there were some great highlights last year. And we did a vape meet.
That's more the community, though, isn't it?
Yeah, but we're talking about that as well, about people being bummed out community-wise too. But I don't feel that from our side when we can pull off an event. IVM shouldn't have worked. Like, if you'd have listened to everybody being a negative twat. And every time we tried to do something, every time we kind of, we were very much from the beginning saying, we're going to do it. It's going to be then, and it's going to be there. And then who comes, because you can't just fall over for this negativity. People kind of going, oh, not then. Oh, I don't really, if I was going to do it, I probably wouldn't do it there. That's all right then, because you're not doing it. So it's fine.
Yeah. Definitely the negative media of 2019 had a massive effect on the shops. It just, how could it not, we've gone all the way back to, you know, people stopping you in the street and telling you it's really bad for you, and you know, the public perception took a real nosedive towards the end of 2019 because of the American.
It wasn't the negativity from like our side. It was obviously mainstream media getting hold of these stories, like in the States, because there's not been any issues over here.
No?
Yeah, I think also as well, the massive change in the last 18 months is you can have hobbyist kit and not be a hobbyist. Like in my office block, not in the same company as me, but in the same block, there's 3 or 4 guys with proper kit, you know, really good tanks, really good mods. They're not in any way a hobbyist at all, you know, and so they don't have the shiny-itis, you know, they're not constantly questing for. They've found a juice they like, they found a cloudy tank, and they just rip on that. And I've seen them using that same mod and tank for 6 months or something, you know. So they're not hobbyists, but yet they've got that quality kit, and they don't need to seek out the hobbyist community because they're happy with their lot.
Yeah.
Like most of us got into it, found the forum because we Googled something like, why is my vape utter shit? Or why is my iClear 16B leaking? Or, you know.
I think mine was, we're looking at, reviewers kept coming up with stuff that just wasn't for sale. Like one of the first things I ever saw was an SVB mod. And I was like, well, I want one of them. And I Googled, nah. And I thought, well, the fuck to get that then? And then they mentioned UKV the forum, like when that was going, I joined that, realised I'm not a very popular person, and joined Facebook. I made sure I wasn't. Yeah, and that way. Dale's just put it out in chat as well. I think the shops that were in on it for a quick buck, money orientated, not customer driven. The ones who didn't know what they were selling are the ones that have died off. I think that's probably a fair cop.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I think I think there's a lot of bad shops. We've always said that.
Yeah.
You know, the shops that are also selling mobile phone cases, you know, or all this random stuff, or you know, that's half a vape shop, half a whatever shop. You know, crazy combinations that we've seen. There's those, isn't there? But even the really cool shops, really great shops, may have to go the extra mile to sort of draw people into the, you know, come back and see us a couple of weeks. Got some new stuff coming. It's really cool. We'll give you a look at it. We'll give you a go on it. You know,
it's getting everyday public. It's like getting just Mary, who's 70-year-old, who goes into Morrison's and sees her vaping stuff on the wall. It's drawing them sort of people in. It's not necessarily just dragging people in. God's sake, you know, Argos sell vape gear now. You can go to Argos and buy vape gear.
It's not even TPD compliant there stuff.
You could just go to Argos and buy it. So
I think my favourite combination for shop is Tattooist Vape Shop, because when you're trying a liquid for the first time, aerosolized blood is what you need to really get those citrus notes out of the liquid. Do you want to try this? No, I fucking don't, mate.
Yeah.
It just amazed me whenever I see that. It's like tattoos, they've got vape liquid in the window. Yeah, I'm all right, thanks. I'm good. I don't want a tattoo or a fucking vape liquid.
So I feel like people try to lifestyle it though more than anything else. Don't they?
Yeah. I've got no, because there's one down the road for me. Sax Vapes, absolutely great shop, really, really great shop, and they have got a tattoo. It's upstairs. It's not in the same fucking room. There's a different guy who runs a studio upstairs. And
he's not the exhibitionist tattooing in the fucking front shop window.
Not doing it in the kitchen, out the back.
So Tom, are you still running the wholesale side of stuff?
Yeah, wholesale and social media. Yeah, definitely.
So, what does that? So you don't really do much in the shops generally.
No. Don't go into the shops.
So what's that side of? Because obviously, you know, you're in quite a unique position. Not many people we've had on actually doing that side of the industry.
Yeah.
What's your day to day? You have a selection of items that are owned by Endless, and it's getting those out there, getting those to everyone.
Exactly. Yeah, and it also goes like traveling and stuff. Like as I say, we went to Germany last year, and we had a really, really good response in Germany last year. We went in the May just to see what the show was like, walk around the show, seeing what it was like, try to get a bit of a gauge of the market. Because I feel like it's understanding the market as well, because for me personally, I feel like there is still a mech. People use mechs in the UK massively still, but it's not as much as regulated. So there is sort of that, steady pace in the market, but you're going to get lulls and highs, and it always happens, but it's kind of gauging a different market. For me personally, I feel like the UK has seen everything now. It's gauging other markets. So it's speaking to other people in different countries now.
Yeah. I mean, we're going out I'll be out in May in Stuttgart. Me and Mrs. just had Nick. Because I want to see the same thing, because we've got customers in Germany.
I feel like you've got to gauge it these days. You've got to gauge it. I feel like we've all done as much as we can in the UK.
Yeah.
I honestly feel that. I feel like we need to.
So, are you having a stand in May then?
Yes, we had a stand in October in Hamburg. Response was amazing, even though the language barrier was a bit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because we didn't have a translator or anything like that. We literally did it off our own backs.
Like we token German.
It was fun, man. It was really fun.
I'll come over and translate for you.
Thank you. It was really fun. It was actually really fun to do because we were like, we don't speak German, we apologise. And I felt really rude about not being able to speak German. Just that's the person I am. But then actually speaking to somebody who's not very good in English, but they were speaking a lot better than my German. So you could have a little bit of a banter with it and have a bit of conversation with it. I feel like if I had somebody stood beside of me, the conversation wouldn't have been as good as if somebody was just saying what I needed to say in German. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It was a little bit more interesting. You got to know the person a little bit more because, they were trying, I was trying, and it was fun. It was really, really fun.
I presume, like, if Inna can go, they have to do English, don't they?
I feel like a lot of people did have translators. Did have translators, but I feel like people are trying. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
People are trying. So I feel like we could have done more with a translator, but we did as well as we could without a translator. It's
funny because I think if we've come in and out the other side in the UK, then looking at the have you seen the layout for Jam this year? It's a business conference. It's really weird.
Yeah, I always thought it would go this way.
Isn't it 3 floors or something?
It's really weird. It's really business conference-y. The logo's this weird, it looks like a business conference, and it's just I just don't think. I've already fucked it off. I'm not I'm going to London that weekend, and we're going to go the Omies and find a proper pub, not the fucking Fox outside the expo, and have a decent time. Why are we in one of the biggest cities in the world and going? Yeah, we're going to be here. We're just going to be on this little bit and go to the best pub.
I like the Fox.
Pub? I don't lie. It's shit. It smells of bleach.
It's literally the worst pub in London.
It's fucking ridiculous.
I think it's great.
You're a liar. It's shit.
Well, it sells beer.
So your opinion
is sells beer, and there's like 50 of your mates there.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the thing. That's the thing. That is the thing. You guys could go to the park and you could literally be stood there and you'd still have the same amount of fun as you would if you stood
and you can see your hotel room from the...
That's just you being lazy. That's all that is.
Yeah, exactly. But Tom just made my point. We're saying, let's get those 50 people and just put them in a place that's not shit.
Yeah.
So not only are you in with your 50 mates, which is the entire point, is you got a beer and it's wicked. Yeah.
Pub's a pub.
Yeah, not that one.
I tell you what you mean. Well, the Fox isn't an option anyway, is it? Because it's literally in a different location. Isn't that not the one they're moving? Oh no, it's at Expo London.
Expo London, you're
right. That's going to be a whole new bag.
Yeah, well, I don't think anyone's going because I've not even seen an advert for Expo London. So
I've seen nothing.
Oh,
have you not? I've seen all the adverts.
Have you? Well, for Expo,
I'm in one of the adverts for the Expo.
Oh yeah.
When is Expo London? Before or after?
Before.
Yeah, before. It's in February. February the 15th. 14th.
Oh, going to Sri Lanka on the 16th. I'd love to be there, but can't.
There you go. So that's the thing. We do need to slide on a bit, I think.
Okay.
So, but to move us on nicely. So, Endless Mods 2020, we're expecting to see the relaunch of the Sherman, maybe a new mouth to lung banger, and a couple of other bits as well.
Other bits, yeah, definitely.
And so, is Asylum going to be making the stuff now? Is that like part of the?
It's two different companies.
Oh right, you run it, still keeping them separate. So the people making the endless stuff now will still be making the endless branded stuff.
That's right. Yeah, and then the Asylum stuff will be made wherever we want to make the Asylum stuff.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah,
cool.
totally different.
So so you still the wheels are still getting up to speed, but it's going to be a big year.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that is what we want to talk about. 2020. It's the start of 2020. Right now, it feels to me like so far 2020 is the AIO.
End of 19 into 2020. Yeah, I think it's going to be. Yeah.
You've got your .AIO. You've got the Boost. You've got the Wismec attempt as well.
It's great to see a shift away from pods. It is.
Yeah, it kind of did transition from pod because everyone was going, well, it kind of is a pod, but now it's an AIO.
Yeah.
So it's been the year of AIOs. But what do we expect? Do we think that'll cycle down, or there'll be something else will jump up in 2020?
I definitely think we're going to be talking about lots of different RBAs for those AIOs as well. Yeah. We've already got one out already in .mod. There's another one coming out for the billet. Well, we've had one out for the billet already. There's a new one. EVL are bringing out their billet box RBA in the next little while. I don't know. And John might well look at the .mod AIO as well. It could be exciting. And we've got more things that are taking the tank, the borrow. I think there'll be more that take both.
Yeah, but tanks. Surely that will reach a kind of
plateau. Yeah. Again, but like Tom said, it just goes. We know now. Fucking hell. Well, I think I've been vaping 8 years. When it gets to June, we know it goes round.
But as it stands right now, new rebuildables are nowhere near as regular as 2018.
No, true.
You were looking at 3 RDAs a week, 2 RTAs a week. God knows what in between. Now it's maybe 1 a week, Kelpie this week, Profile last week.
I'd love to see some mid and high range tanks and
but do you think we will have? Do you think there'll be a rise in rebuildables? I don't think there will.
I think
this is the new pace of rebuildable release.
It's the consumer that does this. The consumer controls where the market goes, and if people are wanting RTAs, they'll make RTAs. If people are wanting pod systems on billet stuff, and so that's where the market is. I feel like if the consumer turns around tomorrow and goes, do you know what, we're going to change it up and we're all going to go back to RTAs, then everyone would go, right, we're shifting.
But with sub-tanks vaping so well now, all these AIOs vaping so well now, will we ever get back to that point,
I don't think we could. I think they could be.
Direction.
It's the price difference. Once if you're not using heads, you save so much money.
The consumer buys so differently these days, though.
Well, everything used to be shit when we vaped, and it was heads.
Every week we had to buy something new because it was going at a pace where things were getting better. Nothing sort of seemed to be innovating. There's nothing sort of.
Oh, but also the reason for an RTA was it was so much better than a sub-tank.
Yeah. I think it's still better. I don't think it's so much better.
It's marginal now. Like the sub-tanks are really good now. I
think it's 5%.
So I don't know. So from an innovation standpoint, obviously we don't know what the next trend will be, but I don't think rebuildables will come back into full.
What about wickless? What about wickless RTAs? Like we saw being shown the other day with hollow wire. That was quite funky.
Yeah, that's come round a couple of times, and it never seems to take off. Like the anarchists were experimenting with.
It's weird though. If you did it, you imagine you had a pod system and you never changed the head. I mean, fuck, be unbelievable.
I think and I think that was some of the enthusiasm behind the heating element.
Yeah.
The idea being all you do is occasionally change your cotton, but ultimately that element should last an insane amount of time in comparison.
I don't think that'd ever come round though. The reason that would never come round is because it's not viable for businesses. It would never have to.
Commercially, it's a tank.
Yeah, it doesn't make super business sense, does it?
So I don't think that would ever come round as a thing. I really don't, because you're just gonna lose. Everyone's gonna lose money. And go, you over there trash this industry because you decided it'd be a great idea to not have to buy cotton and wire and all that sort of stuff. What we have to buy.
Yeah. The other side of that.
So you say there's a big wire industry manipulating us.
Big wire. But I mean, the only incentive for UL to make the Crown V5 is to sell Crown V5 coil heads. I think we'd be crazy to not accept that.
Yeah.
So that's. But if the Crown V5 head never needed to be changed, that would be a real problem. Yes, I think that's.
And that's what they're selling the most of. They're not selling the most of the tank. They're selling the most of the coils.
Yeah. I've told so many people that the way the entire system works is to think of a printer on Boxing Day. Go and buy an inkjet printer on Boxing Day. It's 20 quid. If it's on offer, there's £100 off. Bargain. Oh, fuck me, the inks have run out. How much are the inks? 40 quid. When am I going to be back? See you in 2 weeks. And that's what it's for. It's a fucking ink. They don't give a shit about the printer.
Yeah, it's the same concept, really.
Mm-hmm.
On a similar line, we said we would talk about it. Mesh in RDAs, mesh as a coil, not as
I've
a
only
wick.
had one.
It's
I've
again,
never touched it.
the manufacturers, especially the Chinese manufacturers, are really pushing mesh as a coil. I can only assume it's insanely easier to manufacture.
Yeah,
And that's their main.
Sheet.
Because it is a sheet of metal. So much.
How
easier
much cotton have you got to get in those? I mean, you go through a pack of cotton like every 2 days.
The cotton comes like this.
I do it myself.
That's great for cotton manufacturers, but shit for fucking coil manufacturers.
It brings its own the fact that you need so much cotton brings its own problem as well, because it means it doesn't squonk the same, because you're feeding such a bed of cotton, and it doesn't vape the same. And the last thing you want with a mesh heating element is a dry
because it drops away after a couple of days. It goes to and then as soon as it moves away slightly from the coil, you are getting a hit off a dry coil. But then some people, I said, I've got a customer who's in every 3 or 4 days for liquid, but he's got I think he's got a profile. Is that the one?
Yeah.
He
Super popular.
Absolutely loves it.
Yeah.
Who was behind the profile? I can't remember.
It was Mr. Just Right One and Watofo.
Yeah.
It's super popular, and they're really cloudy. They're really cloudy. For me, the flavour's not as good.
What's the benefits to it? What's the benefits to that compared to actually using wire as a coil?
I think personally,
super cloudy.
It is really cloudy because you've got so much surface area. It really does, and it's a very cool vape as well because of the nature of that. And I know some people do like that. They just want huge clouds. They're not worried about a hot set taste. I feel like the main benefit has got to be on China's side. It's got to be on the manufacturing side.
And on the cotton side, they're loving it. Somebody, Steve Bellamy asked in chat when you held that up, is that a tampon? I don't think that's our responsibility to give you sex education, Steve. I think you're going to have to sort that out for yourself.
And the answer is yes, it is.
Give it a Google. I think cotton manufacturers would love it.
And it's good for juice.
And juice manufacturers.
Oh, yeah. Because you're throwing 5 mil in the bin that's trapped in the cotton.
You literally are. So, yeah, I'm really struggling with it. So this next review, I've recorded it, the profile. And so, obviously, I went through mesh, using all the mesh that came with it. 3 different types of mesh came with it. This is another bone of contention. 3 different meshes came with it. Tried all of them. One was a 0.15, recommended 60 to 80 watts. One was a 0.16, recommended 60 to 80 watts. And one was a 0.19, recommended 60 to 80 watts. What's the fucking point of that?
Copy and paste, mate. Easier, isn't it?
And then, but they did have cool names. One was Next Mesh Smooth. One was Next Mesh Ultra. They had cool names, but they vaped exactly the same.
It's like cigarettes, isn't it? That's a good point, though. Talking about 2020, do you think? Because I mean, we the thing that isn't talked about I'm happy to talk about this because of the people we've got in the chat, people we've got are on the show, adhering to the TPD. Nobody ever. Maybe that's what's going to happen in 2020. Maybe they're going to actually start enforcing the TPD because nobody the TPD are because it's not enforced at all. The amount of times I get asked a question by somebody. Sometimes I'm asked why we don't do X, and I say, well, it's illegal. And they'll say, and the customer says, oh, I didn't think so because blah blah does it. That's not how it works. I'm often asked about buying nicotine in the UK. As you know, as a punter, where can I buy 72 milligram nicotine in the UK? And the honest answer is Google it.
Yeah.
That's really weird. Nobody sticks to the law when it comes to sales. I see people who used to stick to the law. I know what the law is. I don't go. I never go around it. And people just give a fuck when people say like, "Oh, well, Americans say, I hope we get something like the TPD. I hope you do as well, because no one fucking listens to it at all."
And 2020 is meant to be the year of the TPD revision, isn't it?
Yeah, TPD 2, yeah.
Yeah, so...
What are they going to do? You know, maybe the revision is, you know, those rules we set.
I genuinely don't know.
Maybe we should stick to it.
I genuinely don't know what the thing is. I mean, they've accepted that 10ml bottles and 2ml tanks doesn't make sense. Because you've got one container that legally has to be 2ml and one that can be 10. One's more penetrable than the other, and that's the big one. There has been an acceptance that that's an unusual thing, and that other countries haven't bothered with that as well. You know, Germany don't bother with 2ml capacity, do they? So
no, they've done like 36ml tanks. Like
yeah, it's almost like they've gone deliberately the other way.
I don't think anybody could have told what the British were going to do when it came to to have the short fill thing. They didn't see it coming, and I remember when that was first put down. You know, people were talking about it, and I remember being one of the people who go, "Shh, wait till they print the fucking thing, and then we do it."
Yeah,
and the people kind of going, "I've heard that when this comes in, people are going, shh, be quiet, because if they change the fucking line, we're all fucked. Shut up."
Yeah, I could see something along the lines of rules that have been additionally adopted by some European countries being added in. Mm-hmm. So the childproof thing. Like,
definitely should have happened. That definitely.
In Italy, they're really strict on it. Has to have that additional childproof element on the top fill and on.
I don't agree with that. Sorry, I thought you were talking about childproof on the liquids.
That's why the Innocan tanks have the drip tip, where you have to lift the drip tip up before it pushes out. It's an additional safety thing, and Italy insist on that on tanks. It's like,
I hate big bottles without safety caps. We'll carry on to, because like, even if they changed it tomorrow, I'd keep doing concentrates because people like doing DIY, and so I'll keep doing concentrates anyway because people love it. You know,
Dale from TYV is in chat, and he said the same thing. There's a lot of advantages beyond circumnavigating rules with short fills, with having concentrates available for people, and you know, he said that in chat. You know, like again, Nick Stremps without loads of different SKUs. Is another advantage. So it does make sense.
There is. Dale will agree as well. There is a minority who is sticking, who are working within the rules and have used those things to their advantage and working within the rules. And then there's like this huge swathe of fucking people who just do whatever the fuck they want and they haven't changed anything. I often see bottles of totally illegal liquid, especially nicotine, being banged around. I can buy whatever. So can Dale, because Dale manufactures, but I can buy whatever because we own the company. But if I was a punter, I'd probably just, and I was into DIY. I do what they're doing. They're not breaking the law. The vendor is.
Yeah.
It's currently like a gentleman's code, isn't it? Like the rules are in place. There's certain people that take are adhering to the rules and certain people who are not. But once again, regardless of whatever rules are put into place, until there's somebody actually coming out to see that people are abiding by these rules, everyone's just going to do what the fuck they please.
I see it from my side as well, with the reviewing side, because certain companies follow the TPD packaging rules to the letter.
Yeah.
Every package has the TPD ID printed on, where it was imported from printed on.
Yep.
It was imported for printed on. They follow the rules to the letter. You know, certain companies are absolutely spot on with it. Even the import documentation is spot on as well. So there's still companies now, massively mainstream companies, that don't even have a TPD ID for that product, and never mind put it on the package. They don't even have an ID for that, and it's for sale in the UK right now.
When the savers came, there was a slight issue. It was nothing. Yeah. The issue was that the sticker was in the wrong place. It was on the inside of the cellophane when it should have been on the outside of the cellophane.
Yeah.
And so we had to re-sticker them when they turned up, which was totally fine because they were coming to me. We knew what the thing was.
Yeah, you had the very first batch, the first 250 made, or whatever it was.
And we made sure they were all stickered up and everything. But the people aren't doing that. I get sent shit and I'm like, that's no way. It's not legal. And you just think, as Tom said, it's a gentleman's club. There's the people who stick to it, and you wouldn't change my mind. It's not like I keep seeing people dick about with it, and I go, "I'll just be a dick as well." I just wouldn't.
Yeah, because the minute people who aren't abiding by it are the ones that are going to get caught. The ones that are just always not abiding. They're just not shit.
I'm one of those people where if in the car with somebody and every fucker in the road is parked illegally, and whoever I'm with goes, "Oh, I'll just park here." I go, "Don't." You will get arrested immediately. As soon as you pull the handbrake and get out, they will stick a fine on the front of your car. Let's just go and find somewhere else.
Murphy's Law says you will be the one that gets a fine.
Yeah.
Stuart in chat has said, do you think having 2 mil capacity tank roll has brought more flavour banging eyes to the fore?
No.
I think it has brought about innovation in as much that the popularity of squonking was partly due to the rules, you know, I don't think squonkatties and squonkers would have got as good as they had if they didn't get as popular as they did. And one of the many reasons they got popular was that capacity issue.
But we've missed
it also strengthened the
and there has been some
AIO
brilliant
and the pod market.
Yeah, pods as well. That created a little vacuum for more handheld stuff because you could only have 2 mil anyway. You might as well have a small. It did have an impact, yeah, and I think there's been some good ideas.
Saying that, moving into 2020, if they did relax a couple of the laws, they didn't relax them, but they changed them so they benefited what I will call the independent vape industry, or the whole vaping industry. But the difference is that I've always said is the independent industry can turn so quickly. If they changed it, you could make a massive difference and flush out all the fucking dickheads immediately.
And that could be the big change. If there is a TPD change, the 2 mil capacity thing goes, it could create a whole raft of rebuildables that are big capacity, like German style.
Yeah,
that could have a big impact. And again, sub-tanks as well. The sub-tank manufacturers are dying to put bigger tanks on these things, aren't they?
They absolutely are. I get customers who aren't in this circle of things, and they get. And they're like, "Yeah, I really like this tank. It only lasts me an hour because half the tank's the fucking head."
Yeah,
and you think, it needs to be massive. That's what I was kind of knocking. It was a great question, saying, "How do I think it's improved flavour?" Maybe it has, but I
think it has. I think it has influenced a couple of low wattage tank designs.
I think we've got to discuss what rule could they put into place that could make them the most money, because at the end of the day, that's what it's about. And I feel like the only rule they really could put into place is anything that has the purpose to be vaped has to be tested.
Yeah, I think there's definitely scope for a change in testing because that'll make money. There's scope for a change in an official fine mechanism. An actual, like from now on, we are going to police this. We are going to fine this because there's money in that as well.
I've got the winner where the most money is. You're both wrong.
And potentially something along the lines of like luxury tax.
There you go. That's the answer.
You know, there's definitely scope for them to put an additional levy on vape products versus traditional retail products.
10% or whatever. They could just leak it in 10%.
And those from that, I wouldn't be shocked if they had something like that. I think it's spot on, Thomas. Something like that will be probably the main catalyst for even bothering to revise the rules.
The abuse that went on in the beginning of testing from companies such as I don't care about. I'll name them outright. E-cig Wizards' abuse of the TPD coming in was basically should have been theft. I mean, it was unbelievable. The way they were testing was really bankrupting liquid companies because they were testing for things you were paying per result for things that couldn't possibly be in the fucking product. Having seen tests, having seen what they were testing for, it was absolutely ludicrous. It was basically on default showing these mass spectrometer results. There's no lead in your liquid. No fucking shit. Because I've got the ingredients are tested.
Are those the guys that got in trouble this week?
I don't know.
Oh.
No,
the Scottish vape company that got in trouble this week, wasn't it?
Oh no, that was vaporized.
Yeah, they're cunt bags. No, they were basically the only ones with a mass spectrometer to begin with, and it sounds really impressive, but it's not. It's not. It isn't new. It's a 30-year-old piece of kit. But when
It's scaremongering though, John.
Of course it is. It was so funny. Well, I spoke to one of them when it was all going on, and they were so proud because they tested a couple of products for a friend of mine. And they showed them results, and I was there, and they were flicking through the results. And I said, "You're on Cloud Cooking Land. You're lying." And he said, "No." And I said, "Okay, if I put an apple and an orange, if we tested an apple, and then we tested an orange, and I've got the data sheets for both."
Yeah,
and then I put them both in a blender. Do we need to check if there's a banana in there? And he went, "What do you mean?" I said, "That's what your fucking sheet says. 0% banana." No shit, I didn't put a banana in there. Why the fuck am I testing for a banana, you fucking idiot?
I don't, from a consumer perspective, I don't have a problem with the liquids I'm using being tested. And being tested for the strangest fucking things imaginable. Test them for fucking lead. Test them for fucking uranium.
No, because you're paying per line for the test.
Let me finish. Test them for fucking uranium 232. The whole fucking shebang. Make the manufacturer pay for any positive results. Okay. If the government wants it all fucking tested, go wild. You want to test it for lead, for arsenic, you want to test it for bum fluff. I don't give a shit. Don't make the manufacturer, particularly the small manufacturer, pay for fucking negative tests that are bullshit.
Okay.
If you test it and there's lead in it, make him fucking pay.
Like a fine sort of thing, yeah.
It's not new. The thing that's really annoying is you don't wholesale liquids, do you, Tom?
Yes.
You do. So if you're buying from abroad, they have to be transported with a breakdown anyway.
Yeah.
So what the fuck happened between Canada and here that it changed? They're in a sealed document folder. They went through chemical.
They're trying to test on the. They can't trust that you've used the.
No. They can because it's industry standard. It doesn't make any difference. A mass spectrometer is mass spectrometer. It doesn't make any difference. Why the fuck? It just is ridiculous to me. It's that. Yeah. But
it's just that.
But it is. Yeah, but it's that, Tom, versus thickos people who don't question things. When somebody says blah blah blah, you don't go, "Oh well, you've got the machine. You must be right." What the fuck happened to critical thinking? Why the fuck aren't you checking it and going, "What?"
Yeah, but if you've said you've made your smoothie with apple and oranges.
Mm-hmm. No, you watched me do it. No, you watched me do it. And I've got a sheet for both of them because you tested the apple and the orange before I put them in.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
That's what they're doing. And then they're showing you a sheet that says there's no banana in it. It's absolutely stupid. It's absolutely stupid because it's not been combusted. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Sorry, anyway, it went off on a massive rant. I apologise.
We like rants.
No, we did an hour and a half.
We've done it. We have done an hour and a half. It's time to wrap up. Any other business, gentlemen?
Someone's already turned your hand moves into a GIF. It's already on iOS.
Good.
Oh, iOS already on the page. Anyway.
Good. So anything else? Anything we need to say before we go?
Oh, happy birthday, Matt English. Somebody said it's his birthday today.
He was asking.
Oh,
He was
happy
asking
birthday,
earlier.
Mr. English.
Happy birthday, Mr. English.
He was asking for recommendations on custard oil earlier.
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. That was it. We'll be
Good.
back next week.
Yes, we will be back next week. Thank you very much to Tom for
Thank you for having me.
coming
We
on.
love you, Tom.
Please do let us know. Give us a spam when you have your first release of the year.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you.
Drop it all over the page, man.
And yeah, we will be in touch. And thank you very much for watching. And we will see you next week. Are we on next week, John?
Yeah, we'll do next week.
Yeah, let's do next week. So we'll see you next week. Thank you very much for watching. And bye.
Bye.